Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. Today, we are going to be talking about the Mamba, Kobe Bean Bryant. So I just got done watching a documentary on Kobe. And as I was watching this documentary, being reminded of Kobe's greatness, of Kobe's relentlessness, of Kobe's fierceness, of Kobe's competitiveness, I began to realize a couple of things, which we're going to talk about today. Kobe Bryant was the last of the true competitors. He was the last of the true competitors of that caliber. He was the last player in the league that kept the league elevated. And this is kind of an appropriate video because I just did a video about how Michael Jordan elevated the whole league, right? Because, not only did he elevate his teammates, but he elevated the league in the sense that the rest of the league knew in order to compete with this guy, they had to bring it every single time they played Chicago. We talked about, individual matchups with Michael Jordan that elevated their game against Michael Jordan because you had no choice. So you were just going to get embarrassed. But Kobe Bryant, he was the last player in the league that kept the league elevated, that kept a standard of playing, that kept that, the last of the hard workers, the last of the players who, to me, basketball really meant something more, much more than a paycheck. That it was about competing, that it was about proving yourself better than the competition. And in watching some of these championship games with Kobe, to see how a great leader affects the mentality of the rest of the team. And I'm really talking more specifically about Kobe's last two championships without Shaq. That team took on the mentality of Kobe Bryant. Again, this goes back to the kind of things that I say all the time, is that when you're a truly great leader and you win, you actually elevate the status of your teammates. And a lot of people talk about Paul Gasol in a similar light, not the same light, but in a similar light that people talk about Scottie Pippen. But the thing is Paul Gasol, he was that guy because he took on Kobe Bryant's mentality. The same way that Pippen had to take on Jordan's mentality. And the rest of the team, Derek Fisher, Derek Fisher was already a veteran who definitely brought a certain amount of leadership to the team himself. But as far as the mentality, as far as the mindset, as far as that unrelenting, never let up on your opponent's kind of mentality, that was Kobe Bryant's mindset. As far as staying focused on the big goal, Kobe was similar to Jordan in that respect. And, I remember they asked him after they had took a 2-0 lead. Can't remember what team it was. But anyway, Kobe was in the press conference. They were up 2-0, and Kobe wasn't smiling. And one of the reporters asked Kobe, You're not smiling about this? And Kobe was like, it's nothing to smile about. The job is not finished. We're up 2 no. We're up 2-0. The series is not over. And that was very much similar to the Jordan mentality. Because, if you guys remember, after the Bulls got up to 70 games in the 96 season, Jordan was in a press conference and they were asking him, what does this mean for the 70 games? And Jordan was pretty much like, a few weeks from now, I'll probably have time to sit down and think about the significance of this 70 games. But right now, we're focused on the championship. I'm not thinking about the 70 games. And this kind of goes back to, what we talk about on this channel all the time about these current players who want to celebrate every little thing, who want to celebrate in game all the time when in losing sight of the big goal, which is why I feel like, true greatness in this era, which we now dub the Barbie era, really doesn't exist. And, there's some players that I like, but if I'm being honest, I don't know if there's any players that hold up to the standards of a Kobe Bryant, of a Michael Jordan, of a Tim Duncan, of a Larry Bird, of a Magic Johnson, of a Bill Russell. I don't know if there's any players who hold up to that standard as far as taking the game that serious. We're in an era where I feel like, again, players are more concerned with being stars. They're more concerned with the paycheck. But I don't know. I don't have this sense that there are a lot of players out there who are actually concerned with being as great as they can, that actually take the game that serious, So, yeah, to me, Kobe and Mike was very similar in that, maintaining that singular focus. It's like, okay, we're up 2-0 in this series. Who cares? Like that, the job is not finished. And like I said, and Michael Jordan saying, after the 70 games, it's like, hey, I might be able to think about that in a few weeks. But right now, we're trying to win a championship, And, and the other thing that I think about Kobe Bryant is, the tail end of Kobe's career is truly when I think the Barbie era started hitting in full effect. I would say more specifically, fanboys, I really think the 2010, 2011 year, I would kind of dub the official year of the Barbie era, simply because, LeBron James has formed this super team and thought it was going to be easy because he had great players on his team and again, got smacked in the face by the Dallas Mavericks, And just the idea that, it's cool to take shortcuts. And let me say this while I'm at it, because there seems to be a lot of people who say something like, so it's okay if an organization forms a super team, but if a player does it, it's a problem. Yes, it's a problem. Let's go ahead and get this out in the open. If a player takes it upon himself to get with other best players, yes, it is a problem, because he is consciously making a decision to go and play with the best players instead of beat them. Now, if the organization drafts them, that's out of the player's control. But as a competitor, fanboys, you need to understand this. Understand the difference. For those of you who say, why is it a problem when a player forms a super team versus an organization? Because when a player does it, he is making a conscious decision to join the competition. He's making that decision. If somebody else makes it for you, that's beyond your control. But when you, as a competitor, say, I want to play with this person rather than beat this person, that is a problem. So yeah, to me, the end of Kobe's era was not only Kobe was the last truly great competitor in the game, but the end of Kobe's era was also the beginning of the Barbie era officially for me. Now I know Kobe didn't retire to 2016, but I think when he started to suffer injuries in a way that made him non-effective, and LeBron was on the ascension, and we know that LeBron is the king of the Barbie era. Fanboys, I'll give you that. He's the king of the Barbie era. And all you fanboys who are in his little kingdom, you guys are part of it too. Congratulations. But yeah, it's like I said, just watching that documentary, it just really kind of drove home the point that, Kobe was the last person keeping the league elevated. Keeping the league elevated to a certain level of competition. And to me, after Kobe left, like I said, it just went downhill quickly. I mean, there's not really anybody I can think of personally in the league who lives up to the standard of a Kobe Bryant, and not even Giannis. I really like Giannis, and I think he's a hard worker, but I think he's a hard worker relative to the Barbie era. You know what I mean? But it's just it's still more to be seen with him, and hopefully, I'm really curious to see how these lessons with Akeem Olajuwon manifest themselves over the next several years, and hopefully Giannis turns into something even more than we all could imagine. But outside of it's like I'm a Curry fan, but Curry's not a dog like that to me. He's not a Kobe type competitor to me. I appreciate his game, and Kevin Durant, what can we say? Is he might as well be LeBron Jr. Anyway, I could go on and on, but anyway, shout out to the Mamba. May he rest in peace. The last thing I'm gonna say, man, is talking about Kobe is always a sad thing because I was looking up something the other day and I typed in, when did Kobe Bryant? I forgot, but the first thing that came up was like, when did Kobe Bryant die? And that is just saying that just like brought my spirits down. I was like, man, can't believe it, y'all. Can't believe the Mamba is no longer with us. But anyway, shout out to the Mamba. Shout out to the last real competitor in the NBA. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with me that Kobe was the last real competitor in the NBA and the last player who actually kept the league elevated as a whole? Let me know what you think. You all have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. All right.